You know what everyone's been saying for the past year? Just wait, prices are still dropping. Don't rush. And honestly, that wasn't a bad advice for a while. But here's what April numbers are actually showing us. Sales are up about 7% from last year. Listings are actually down. Thank God. And prices, even though they're still below last year, they've climbed back up to about $1,050,000 after hitting their lowest point back in January for $973,000. I mean, we went below $1 million, which wasn't seen for a long time in Toronto. Hey guys, my name is Nima and I run a real estate team across GTA, and every month I break down exactly what the market is doing so you don't have to do the guesswork. And if at any point in this video you want to sit down and talk through what any of these means for your specific situation, there's a link in the description to book a call with me directly. So there's no pressure, just gonna be a real conversation. Now let's get back to the data. This is not a crashed market. This is not a hot market either. This is a market that's been quietly shifting, and in April might be the clearest sign yet that the window for buyers have been sitting in is starting to close. If you've been on the sidelines waiting for the right moment, this video is going to make you a little uncomfortable, in a good way maybe. Let's get into it. April 2026, the GTA saw just over 5,900 home sales. That's up 7% from the same time last year. At the same time, active listings dropped about 25,000, down 6% from last April. And the average sale price came in just over $1,050,000. So still down from last year, but way up from the January low. And here's why the combo matters. Most people are still thinking about the market the way it looked 6 months ago when listings were piling up, because we saw it every month. There was more and more listings coming on the market. When buyers had all the time in the world, when you could take your time, sleep on it, negotiate hard. That's not what the data is saying anymore. When the sales go up and supply goes down at the same time, that's not a blip. That is a shift that's slowly happening. And the months of inventory, which basically tells you how long it would take to sell everything on the market, dropped from 4.8 months last year to 4.2 months now. So we're getting closer and closer to seller's market. The market has been getting tighter every single month. Most people just haven't noticed it yet. And the next few months could paint the picture more clear. If you're a buyer right now, here's the honest picture. You still have the leverage. Homes are selling at about 98% of the asking price on average. Days on the market is about 30 days. This is not a bidding war environment. I mean, if you're buying maybe in beaches, that's different. But here's what a lot of buyers are missing. Look at the sales trends this year alone. January, we had over 3,000 sales. February, it went up to over 3,800. March was over 5,000. April is closer to 6,000. That's not a flat market. That's a market picking up speed every single month. And the price floor, it looks like January was 973,000. Since then, prices have been climbing back up. That's recovery that's happening right now. Not in 6 months, not next year, right now. So if you've been waiting for things to feel a little more comfortable before you make a move, just understand what you're actually waiting for. Because in Toronto real estate, comfortable actually means more competition, more bidding war, and higher prices. The buyers who win in this kind of market are the ones who move when it feels a little bit uncertain. And that's when you actually get the deals happen. So let's talk about where specifically things are moving, because the GTA is not one market. Let's talk about Toronto proper. Sales are up about 9% year over year, and the average price is sitting just over $1,090,000. So volume is coming back strong in the city. York region, one of the biggest sales jump in the whole GTA. It's up over 11%, but prices are down nearly 10% from last year. They're sitting at over $1,131,000. So if you want more space and you're watching your budget, York is honestly one of the most interesting conversations right now. Then we have Mississauga, the quiet overachiever, average price is just over 980,000, and it's only down about 1.5% from last year this time. That's the smallest drop of any major market in GTA. It's holding its value better than almost anywhere else that we've seen, and that's because they've hit that below $1 million price point. Durham region, average price is sitting at about 844,000. That's down 7.4% from last year this time, and sales are still down 7%. So on surface, it looks like one of the softer markets right now, but here's what's interesting about Durham region. Months of inventory is only 3.3 months. So that's balanced market, and it could fall into the seller's market soon. So that's tightest supply of any area we're tracking. So even with the sales and prices both dipping, the actual inventory on the ground is pretty lean there. That disconnect is worth paying attention to. And then there's Oakville with 254 sales, up over 14%. And average prices are over 1,626,000, and that's actually up 8% from last year. This is the only market in GTA showing price growth right now. In a market where everywhere else is still recovering, Oakville is already on the other side. And that tells you something. When you're on the right spot with the right product, the broader headlines don't really apply to you. And in terms of Oakville, we saw in the last few months how the prices dropped drastically. So there were opportunities there, and that's when actual buyers move to the market. And this is why we see the prices moving up, because a lot of those higher end homes dropped a lot in price and people grabbed them. And that moved the average price point higher. As an example, we did a deal it was a few months ago, on a house that would have sold probably at the peak of the market over 3 million. We picked it up just over 2.4 million. Here's a part of this month's data that I think most people are misreading. Condo sales across the GTA jumped over 9% in April. Volume is coming back, buyers are engaging. But average condo prices are still down over 6% year over year. They're sitting around 635,000. Keep in mind, at the peak, they were well over 800,000. So you've got more people buying and prices are still falling. How does that make sense? It means there's still enough condo inventory out there to keep prices soft, even as demand picks back up again. And the gap right now there between the volume recovery and the price recovery, that's where the opportunity lives right now. And this is why we've been seeing a lot of people, first-time buyers, getting into the market. If you know what you're looking for, the right building, the right floor plan, the right unit, you can still find a genuinely good deal in condo market, while most people are still sitting on the sideline, waiting for signals that's never going to come in a clean, obvious way. But that window isn't unlimited. It could be till the end of the year, could be stretching into next year. If sales keep climbing the way they've been, prices will follow. It always does. In terms of condo market, it could be longer than anticipated, but you gotta be in the market to see the deals so you know what you're grabbing. Now for sellers, and I want to be straight with you here. Yes, the market is tightening, that's real, but that doesn't mean you can still price like it's 2022. That's not coming back tomorrow, that's not coming back anytime soon. And sellers who price based on where things were 3 or 4 years ago, or even 6 months ago, they are the ones that are on the market for 60, 70, 90 days right now, wondering what went wrong and why they're not selling. Here's the reality. Homes are still selling at about 98% of the asking price. Buyers still have some room to negotiate, but a year ago, that ratio was 99%, and days on the market was 25. The market is slowly moving back towards sellers, but not fast, and not in a straight line, but it's moving. So if you're thinking about selling, the advice isn't to wait forever. It's also not to overprice and hope that someone's gonna come and pay you. You gotta be smart right now. Price is the main factor right now in this present situation. And that's what's gonna create momentum for your listing. And that's what's gonna actually get you offers. And offers is what's gonna give you leverage. So make sure to follow that procedure. Let's zoom out for a second. The average sell price so far this year is just over $1 million. That's down about 6% from this time last year. and it's down about 21% from the peak we saw back in early 2022. That context matters because when people say prices are recovering, you have to understand what they're recovering from. Toronto ran up really hard in 2021 and 2022. The rates went up fast too, and then the market pulled back, and now we're in a reset. Not a crash, not a boom, just a reset, and resets don't last forever. The Bank of Canada rate is sitting right now at 2.5%, way down from the 5% we were at back in 2023, 2024. Rates are lower, affordability has improved, prices have dropped, and the population pressure on Toronto housing hasn't gone anywhere. Those things don't disappear just because the market had a rough couple of years. So when I look at April's numbers, I see two things happening at the same time. And right now, buyers are still in the driver's seat. Prices are below the peak and there are real deals to be had. But over the next little while, supply isn't growing fast enough, demand isn't slowing also. The cushion that buyers have today is getting a little bit smaller. And that's not me trying to scare you into doing something. That's just what the numbers are actually saying. So what's the real takeaway from April? Toronto real estate is not crashing. It's not on fire either. It's resetting. And that reset is maturing. Sales are going up, inventory is shrinking, prices bounced off the January floor and they are going up. And the only market showing actual price growth right now is Oakville. Everywhere else, the prices are still down. But with the supply shifting, this price decline, I don't think it's gonna last too long. And people who get into the market to find the deals are gonna be probably the ones taking advantage of the deals that they see in the market. So right now, the data is telling you the window is still open. The question is what you do with that. If you're thinking about buying or selling and you want to talk through a specific situation, not just the general market stuff, but your situation, feel free to book a call with me. I would be more than happy to discuss it. And guys, as always, if you found this useful, hit that subscribe, hit that like, and share it with anyone that's getting in the market. And remember, if you still need to get a clear picture of your situation, I would be more than happy to jump on a call with you. Have a great day.